Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Took a few extra days because I was celebrating the exhilarating win of the Philadelphia Eagles over the lame Kansas City Chiefs. No three-peat for you. Today, we want to have a kind of a short discussion about a couple things. One, many of you may or may not know that Ecuador had an election last week on the day of the Super Bowl, actually. Daniel Noboa and Luisa Gonzalez were the top two candidates, but neither one of them hit the 50% threshold to just become the president.
So you need to have 50%. So
yeah,
it could be like 50,
election.
49. Whoever hits 50 first is basically what you're saying.
Right. If someone hits 50 in that first election, like they win automatically, which is the way it kind of works in most countries. If no one hits 50%, then the top candidates there's another election for the top candidates. So in this case, Luisa and Daniel Noboa both got 40-something%.
It was like 48, 40.
Yeah, they were really close.
Yeah,
they were
close.
very close to each other. So there's going to be another election April, I think 13th, Sunday, April 13th.
Okay, so the last one was on February 9th, which was Super Bowl Sunday.
Right, which another thing that other countries do is they have elections on the weekend or a Sunday when people aren't working. But anyway.
We don't want to get into that, but it makes a lot of sense to do that.
It just makes sense. But anyway, so there will be another election. Now, when it comes to like candidates and who we prefer, we don't really get that deep into it to have a preference because
we're visitors.
We're visitors, and the way we live here, but we're basically immigrants. So
we're foreigners.
Yeah. So we don't really have an opinion about each candidate because I'm sure they all have their strengths and weaknesses, things that we might like or dislike. But it's really up for the people of Ecuador to choose who they want. Yes. And that's who I'm going to say, like, okay, well, that's the president. I really can't say much more about it than that.
But if we were citizens, and if you're a citizen and you decide you want to vote, you can.
What we do, Ecuadorian nationals have to vote.
Yes. We'll give you more information. Yeah. Steve will drop the information in the description below or in a comment to let you know if you're a foreigner and you become a citizen, if you have to vote.
Right. But you can. So once, we get to that level, that threshold,
and we'll decide.
We'll have more to say about it. But I am interested in knowing if anyone watching this channel, no matter where you're from, if you have opinions about the candidates in Ecuador, drop it in the comments because I really like to know, especially if you're Ecuadorian. I like to know what you think because when we're out and about here in Cuenca, and even when we're in Salinas, you see groups and posters and people with signs and on the back of trucks for different candidates. And we actually were in Centro here in Cuenca the other day, and like there was a group of Noboa supporters and they were like canvassing, and there was a group of Luisa supporters. But they were just like a group of people.
Yeah, the group of Luisa people just walking.
Yeah, they were just like a family that was just walking.
And so the Noboa representatives, or what do you call them, scouters? They were campaigners. Yeah. They were out trying to convince people, give people things, and they were trying to give these group some Noboa stuff. Yeah. Didn't go over.
Yeah, they didn't go over well. Like, they were hollering back and forth like across the street. Luisa Noboa, Luisa Noboa. It was pretty funny actually. But like people are, they're passionate about what's going on, and it is because those two candidates were so close in the vote. There is kind of like a division in the country, kind of like the U.S. But it's kind of pronounced because they were so even. Like there's like an even split down the middle in the country, like who supports who. So it remains to be seen who will become president. I want to say they take over in May of this year. So whoever wins this election, it's like the following month, like that person becomes president. It's a pretty fast process. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and then where the country goes from there. Like I said, we're not really gonna spill our opinions about this because our opinions don't mean a lot. It's the citizens of the country that really matter and what they want.
Right.
So, second little subject here. As expats, visitors, immigrants, whatever you want to call us, we see a lot of visitors or expats or immigrants who are very loose with information in groups. So like Facebook groups specifically. Even though the groups are private, they're private, you got to join, you don't know who's actually in the group. Sometimes it can be counterproductive for you to reveal like all your plans or how much money you're carrying or an issue you had with like breaking big bills or something like that, because you don't know who's paying attention in those groups. To me, it seems like sometimes people leave their home country and forget like all the kind of common sense things they would have done where they came from.
Well, some of them do that in their home country.
Well,
so
yeah, but
some people do what they do in that country will continue to do the same thing here.
Right.
But they only put themselves at risk.
Right.
Because, as you state, I mean, just common sense. You don't put how much you make. You don't you don't put how much you make in a group chat or
how much you're going to put in the bank, deposit in the bank, or withdrawal from the bank,
or what ATM you went to and how much you tried to get out, or when you're arriving. When you are arriving in Ecuador, whether you're coming in Quito, Guayaquil, Cuenca, whatever airport you're coming into, you don't need to put the exact time of your arrival.
Right. You
don't need to put in where you're going to stay after you arrive. You just don't need to put all this information in, because someone could be waiting for you.
Right. You don't need to shotgun blast it. Like at the if you really want that information, if there's anyone in the group that you happen to know or trust, PM that person. DM. Or if you don't know anybody in the group, you just join the group. Like DM the administrator, because they can usually tell you like, okay, here's a file that we have for maybe drivers, blah blah blah. Like, don't shotgun blast like your itinerary in a group, because you don't know. Here, I'm just being honest that you don't know what people's past are. All right, just because someone's here and decide to be an expat from wherever they came from doesn't mean they're trustworthy. There's criminals everywhere. You're not, just because you're in Ecuador, you ain't got to worry about just Ecuadorian criminals. There are others who will prey on someone who seems vulnerable, especially if you're just putting all this information out there that just is not necessary.
And one thing you need to do if you're going to relocate to any country, do your own research.
Yeah.
We stress that greatly in all of our videos. Research. Find out what you can and cannot do. If the government website is hard, like you said, you can email the administrator and say, hey, do you have an idea of how can I go about getting this or getting that? Or do you have a resource that I can contact, a reliable resource that I can contact to get in touch with about information that I need? Just asking people and relying on what people say, things change. Mm-hmm. People change. So it's best you do your research, and hopefully you can find a trustworthy person who can help you.
You don't know, like I said, you don't know everybody's situation. Like it was a couple weeks ago or whatever. We ran into, like, usually if someone's like begging for change or whatever, like that, you see that anywhere in the world, honestly. It's more rare to see like a gringo doing that. The gringo that I'm referring to was also very rude. So let's say that person is in one of these groups. You don't know if that person is going to try to use information that you put out there for their own gain. Mm-hmm. Just don't do it.
I understand we all want information. Don't get me wrong. I do understand we're trying to get information, but just like you won't put your social security number online, don't put how much you make from social security, how much you're getting from retirement or your pension. Don't specify exactly where you live, or don't be showing pictures of where you live.
Yeah.
Like somebody asks, "Oh, can you send me what your house look like, or what your neighborhood look like?"
Why?
Why?
Would you do that
if you was in the state or in Canada, wherever you're from?
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Yeah. Imagine someone that you don't know asking you how much you pay for your mortgage in the U.S. Some random person say, "How much is your mortgage?" Like, why would you tell them?
Like what?
Yeah, why would you tell them? Like, how is that any different just because we moved to Ecuador? Like, if a random person says, "Well, how much is your rent?" It's my business. Like, well, how much is yours?
I don't care. Honestly.
I really don't care. I would never ask. That is never a question I would. I don't care. It's not that we don't. No, actually, we just don't care. We just don't care. And it's not that like we don't.
It's not information that is going to be beneficial to me or us.
I don't need it.
I'm not going to pay it, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I don't need to know what you did for a living before, unless by chance we had the same job. Then that's something you can connect with. But like, I don't need to know what your job was before here. We're all here.
We're retired.
We're all here. Most of us aren't working, so like, why does it matter? You will see people are very loose with information, and there are people who are very tight with information. That's for a reason. It's for a reason. That it helps protect you. There are, snoopers out there.
Here we go with the snoopers.
Yeah, internet sleuths. All right. So like, if someone happens to figure out where we live, like, okay, like if you were that nosy to figure out where we live, then so be it. You good job, detective. But I'm not gonna just tell you. I'm not gonna say it, blast it out here on YouTube, because what's the point? There isn't one.
We're all here just to relax, enjoy fruits of our labor, the weather, just enjoy. And stop trying to figure out what other people have. And stop sharing things that you don't need to share.
Yeah, it ain't necessary.
And just live. Enjoy. That's what we're doing.
Go birds.
First they got...
Yeah, they do.
No.
I'll be talking trash for an entire year. So I just want y'all to know this. If you happen to know me and you mention any other football team until the next Super Bowl, I'll tell you to shut up. Anyway, don't give up too much information in these groups. If you're coming, we can speak specifically for Ecuador, but I'm pretty sure this relates to pretty much anywhere that you might relocate to.
Oh yes, I've seen them. I've seen it in groups that went to Europe, Italy, Paris. Yeah, a lot of information when they were arriving by themselves.
Yeah, I'm traveling by myself. I arrive at 11 p.m. and
I'm looking for a friend to hang out with.
Come on.
You're going to get a friend.
You're going to be on Taken 4. No, don't do it. We're just having a good time, y'all, and want to spread some information, spread some tips that could help you stay safe and enjoy your trip, your relocation, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Stop telling people your information. They don't need it. And if they keep asking, you might want to disassociate yourself or ask them, why do you need this information? I don't get it. Like, why is it so...
Why you keep going down this rabbit hole?
Why are you so curious?
And just looking for stuff that I'm not going to share.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't tell people this stuff in the U.S. Why would I do it here? But anyway.
Well, he knows me.
Yeah, I know she ain't telling nobody nothing. So, you're talking to a wall if you ask her. But anyway.
I'm going to look at you like this.
Anyway, yeah, that's our tips. That's our little tips for today. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. And check out our other channels. LaShawn's is On the Porch, and my other 2 channels are Steve's MGT and Schools Don't Teach This. Links will be in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.